Hey folks, this is Vinny the Wrench here at Velo Wrench Bike Shop. I'm going to go over today something that everybody wants to keep from you. We're going to show you how to do your own tune-up in between your full-service tune-ups. This is your mini-term tune-up. It'll keep your bike working at optimum performance in between those full-service tune-ups. You're going to start at the front, work your way to the back just like we do here at the shop. First thing you want to do is you want to start right up here. You want to give this a couple of moves. Shake it around a little bit, make sure that there's no grinding, no stiffness. It should move freely. You're going to hear your cables, but that's all you should hear moving around. Make sure there's nothing, kind of sounds like sand in there, but if there isn't, it's good to go. No more work needs to be done. Have a towel with you the whole time you're working on your bike, because you can wipe things down while you're going, and it also helps you kind of keep a reference on where you've been. Next thing you want to look at is you want to look at your wheel and how it sets inside, in between your brake pads here. You're going to give it a spin. You want to make sure that the wheel isn't moving a whole lot left and right. If it is, it's probably time to bring it in and get the wheels trued. Before it becomes a problem, it's a whole lot less expensive. You want to look at your brake pads and make sure they're centered on both sides so that your caliper is in the center. And make sure that the toe, or the way your brake pads are angled, is true and correct on both sides. Depending on the brake types you have, you want the front of the pad to hit first and then the back of the pad. When you're done with that, just go ahead and wipe that area down and move on to this. It's always a good idea to wipe down the sides of the wheel too. Inspect your tire, make sure it's good to go, that there's nothing that needs to be replaced on it. Move things around and make sure everything on the bike is operating the way it should. Move yourself to the middle of the bike. Inspect your cables on the down tube here, make sure that there's no frays, especially in these areas here where they meet up with something, make sure that nothing is frayed. You can also, with the cassette up on the rear, you can relieve a couple of the gears like this, so where it's loose. You can pull it out, and just gives you a chance to inspect everything and make sure that nothing is loose on there. Work your way down, go ahead and wipe it off. We use Pedro's Bike Lust. It's really good stuff, and we use that to wipe down all the bikes, including yours when you're here for a tune-up. Wipe everything down, inspect your bottle cages. Make sure that they're not broken, make sure there's no cracks in here, and make sure that they have good flex so that they don't break while you're riding and your bottle fall out on you. Then we're going to get to the actual tune-up part on your bike here. These bolts here that you see, these are only your limiters. This keeps the derailleur from going too far out or too far in and the chain falling off. They are not for tuning up your bike. All the tuning, how fast your derailleurs work and how fast and crisp the shifting in, has everything to do with the tension on this cable and nothing else. If you start adjusting these, it's almost impossible to get them back. Bring it into your shop, let us set it before it costs you a whole lot. Same thing on the rear. These two screws have nothing to do with tuning the bike. They're just for setting the limits. And this, which is called your B screw adjustment, this sets the distance that the jockey wheels are away from the cassette, and that is set once you have the chain set up. From there on out, if you have a little bit of hunting, in other words, the shifting doesn't sound quite right, you hear that noise? That's a derailleur that's a little bit out of tune. If it's doing it when you're going down or when you're going up. This one's shifting really bad when it goes up. That means it needs to add tension. Turn it towards the wheel until that sound goes away. Once the sound goes away, back to your shifter, shift it down, shift it back up, make sure that everything is good. If it's the opposite way, in other words, you go to shift down and it hangs up and it doesn't want to go, it means there's too much tension, you turn it away from the wheel. So not enough tension, turn it towards the wheel. Too much tension, turn it away from the wheel. Go to your rear wheel, do the same thing you did on the front wheel, inspect your tires, wipe everything down. Lastly, lube your chain and clean it. Same way you do on that I showed you earlier on your pre-bike inspection. Do the same exact thing when you're doing your tune-up inspection. Lube it, dry it off, clean the chain, off you go, you've tuned up your own bike.